Here, my dining table came from my mom. When she came and she saw this Kiva after been built, she broke out in tears. God bless mothers. She gave me a book by Carlos Castaneda called Journey to Ixtlan. And I was so inspired by that book that I decided it was going to be my take-home, teaching homework, and worked on achieving all the things in the book, which I actually pulled off after a number of years. And then, as happens, life came about. I got a business, get married, had kids, bought a house, had a mortgage, got a big construction company going, big enough. We built the Dushanbe tea house. Yeah, me and my crew. Yeah, and
wow.
A lot of stories, started unraveling, and a lot of it had to do with my first teaching is out of Castaneda. He said to Carlos, find a power spot in nature and spend time there. And I spent a lot of time in the Flatirons when I was in college. So anybody who wants to kind of get rolling on the shamanic path, read Journey to Ixtlan. Okay? So anyways, a lot of life. And last year found me sitting at Tiki Joe's beach bar and nightclub eating dinner, and I kind of was putting together a series of teachings and I couldn't figure out what to call them. And suddenly it occurred to me to use the term the non-ordinary life. And basically a non-ordinary life is the kind of life that one would need to lead to see and experience non-ordinary reality. So, and somehow for me, this first teaching of the Mayan 20 count sort of explains our situation here on Earth and what we're up against. So I think it's a good fundamental starting point. And I'm just curious, Denise, have you ever heard of the Mayan 20 count down there in Mexico? Okay, well maybe, I'm not sure this version comes from Harley Swift Deer. And I was building restaurants on the road and I had tapes, so I listened to these tapes as I was driving across the country, and this one really stuck with me. And it's a creation myth, and it's basically an 8-sided medicine wheel. And I'm going to teach the various facets of this non-ordinary path these next sweat lodges, and people who kind of find themselves captivated and grok them, start practicing. If you keep coming and keep all these teachings and latch on, you might be in a space where you become Sundance for the Memorial Day weekend in Pagosa Springs. So that's kind of taking the next step. So just remembering what I said about finding a power spot in nature. Sweetie, there's a spot right there for you.
I'm good. I'll
You're
be
good?
the outrider.
Okay, everybody's met Chris. She's my partner. I can't say enough about her. She's a godsend. And a gardener and housekeeper and cook. I mean, just everything a man could desire in life. Thank you, Wagataga, for all that you've made happen right up to this moment, you all being here. I'm just really touched. The other thing Harley Swifter said is there's only one true church, and that's nature. So, just find a power spot in nature, spend time there. Basically, you'll see this mind in 20 count. How would I say it? Activate and achieve, its result all by itself. You don't need meditation, instruction, you don't need nothing. Just go sit in nature. Just let the mind unwind and get back to its natural state. And that's a lot about what the Sweat Lodge is about too, is just getting back to our natural state. And it's a big aura cleansing. Anyways, mind 20 count, creation myth. Basically, it's said that the grandmother and the grandfather got together and made love, and out of that love came the physical universe. Okay? And their first creation was father son. So, and father son sits in the east. Okay, because this is a medicine wheel. So Petra, if you're doing this, you can make a circle and put the 4 directions and then put the cross quarters. And put the sun in the east. So the sun's a creative energy, and that's a number 1. Because that's the other thing that goes hand in hand with this teaching is the counting of the crows. At a certain point, if you go out in nature and you got a problem and you pray or whatever, the crows will come and call numbers to you once you have integrated this teaching. Once you get that teaching integrated in yourself and the universe senses that you're carrying that teaching and understanding, it'll start responding to you. There's a feedback that starts happening. And I'll talk about some messages I've gotten if I get done here. We gotta move on. We got a Sweat Lodge. So, sun's in the east. First, father, son. Second creations, Mother Earth in the west. Okay? And that's a number 2. So everything has a number here. And I mention that because it works with the counting of the crows. And so with the counting of the crows, the east is creative. Be creative. In the west here, the earth, it's our path. Okay? So then I kind of like to think of it a little bit metaphorically here, that Father, Son, and Mother Earth came into relationship and, made love basically, and over a huge period of time, obviously, and that some out of that love, water was created and plants came about. And that's number 3, and that's in the south. And number 3 represents change. Literally in all religions, a triad is in place representing change. Father, Son, Holy Ghost, Trinity. Buddhism, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha brings about, that triad is what brings about change. So basically water and the plants came in the south. Okay? And then the next born was the animals, the 4-leggeds. So there's just real simple creation myth. And then in the center, where the turtle is there, is man.
Do you want to speak to balance and
Oh yeah, thanks. Somebody's heard this teaching before. It's always helpful. Yeah, four up there, the four-leggeds, balance and harmony. Because they live according to natural law. They live in balance and harmony naturally. The animals just live according to natural law. So if you hear the crow call 4 times, it's like, well, you're thinking something rather, I ought to do this, and you cross four times, balance and harmony. It's saying, oh yeah. And then maybe it'll say it too. You know, that's a balance and harmony path. So, you see? So, and then in the center, 5th is man, the human. Man. Yeah, human. Man and woman. And, you know, if you're thinking, gosh, how am I going to pull this off? Once I was getting ready to pour concrete all by myself, and I went out and sat and prayed, and the crow said, 5. Oh, I need a helper. Who could help me? And I realized there was a guy down the road that maybe could help me. I called him, and boom, he showed up, and 2 of us poured a big concrete slab. I don't know why the hell I hadn't lined up a helper, but I didn't think the weather was going to allow things to happen. And that was the first thing they told me was 2 path can happen. 5. Okay, next do the cross quarters. Okay, non-cardinal points, they're also called. And this is, so that's physical creation there. So next, the Creator set up what I call a psychological maze for us. And so over here in the southeast there, where that pointed crystal is, he set up what Harley called the ancestor process, and what the Buddhists call the world system, and what basically fundamentally driving all that is entanglement. We would become entangled. You know, the Buddhists say desire is the cause of suffering. Well, I say entanglement is the cause of suffering. And there's huge amount of teachings about entanglement. You know, craving, anger, and delusion. What entangles us. And that's a 6. So basically, if you're wondering about, you know, a relationship or something rather than a crow call 6, it means there's a past life energy behind what's going on. Because that's what got set up. As Harley put it, we just keep coming around till we get it right. I like the native, you know, real basic, not a whole teaching about karma and blah, 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 and greed, hatred, and delusion, and, you know, just keep coming around till you get it right. So, simple as can be. So, then over here in the southwest, Creator embedded in all of us the so-called dream of freedom. That somehow all of us want to be free, you know. I just kind of want to say, you know, I just want to get away and forget about all this and just, you know, be free, right? I want to be free. So inside all of us, we want to be free. And at some level, we all want to get back home. And where's home? Well, it's called the source. The Buddhists call it nirvana. Zen people like to use the word emptiness. But anyways, we all want to from and why the heck we're here, and just be free and have fundamental knowledge and kind of be unstuck, unentangled.
Is that 7?
That's a 7. Yeah. So, then what's keeping us stuck here is 8 up in the northwest here. How we deal with all this?
Pretty good.
Okay. You follow? I'm able to follow. And that's karma. So that's, and you notice things work opposite one another on the medicine wheel. The other side's entanglement over there. What's the resultant? Karma. Okay. And there's huge teachings about karma. And that's the number 8. So, you know, if you're wondering what's going on with the relationship, you know, it's like a 6 and an 8. Whoa, it's, you know, from the crows. You know, it says maybe there's some work going on here. Number 9 over here. Now we're over into the northeast here. Is the way Harley put it was designs and concepts that free us. Notice across the way is number 7, freedom. Over here, designs and concepts. Buddhism called the Dharma, the teachings. Finally, if you work yourself all the way around through this, you end up back in the center as number 10, and that's basically, you know, somewhat an enlightened human. A 10's very, very powerful, insightful person. 10's a shaman, basically. And then, basically, things jump up one level from